The invitation arrived on a rainy Thursday, tucked inside an elegant cream-colored envelope with golden lettering that seemed almost too cheerful for the storm outside. It was a family wedding. The kind of gathering where old stories resurfaced, forgotten faces returned, and every conversation somehow turned into questions about love, marriage, and the future. For weeks, there had been excitement. Plans had been made, clothes had been chosen, photographs had already been imagined. The relationship had lasted almost 3 years. It wasn't perfect, but it had survived distance, disagreements, demanding careers, and countless promises that tomorrow would always be better. There had never been any reason to doubt where the relationship was headed. Or so it seemed. The drive to the countryside lasted nearly 4 hours. Rolling green hills stretched beneath a pale blue sky while sunlight danced across lakes beside the highway. Music filled the silence between conversations. Sometimes laughter broke through. Sometimes neither person spoke. Something felt different that morning. Every question received only short answers. Every smile looked carefully practiced. Still, there was no reason to worry. Everyone has quiet days. The wedding venue looked like something from an old romantic film. An enormous estate stood surrounded by blooming gardens filled with white roses and lavender. Crystal lights hung from ancient oak trees. Guests wandered across stone pathways while soft violin music floated through the warm afternoon air. Children chased bubbles across the lawn. Older relatives embraced after years apart. Everything felt peaceful, almost perfect. The moment they stepped through the entrance, several relatives hurried over. "There you are. We've heard so much about you. So this is the one we've been waiting to meet." Smiles, warm handshakes, friendly hugs. It felt welcoming, comforting, until one elderly aunt approached with sparkling eyes. "And who is this handsome young man?" The answer came without hesitation. "Oh." A casual laugh followed. "He's just a friend." Time stopped. The music faded into silence. Even the laughter around them seemed distant. Just a friend. 3 years. Thousands of conversations. Dreams shared late into countless nights. Vacations. Birthdays. Family holidays. Promises. Every memory suddenly felt fragile. For a second, there was hope that it had simply come out wrong. Maybe nervousness. Maybe a joke. But then came another sentence. "We came together because neither of us wanted to drive alone." Another laugh. Another smile. As though nothing important had just happened. The relatives nodded politely before turning their attention elsewhere. Inside, something quietly shattered. No argument followed. No dramatic confrontation. Just silence. The ceremony began beneath a canopy of white flowers. The bride walked slowly toward the altar while everyone stood. Applause filled the garden. People cried. People smiled. But none of it truly registered. Every few minutes, the words echoed again. "Just a friend." The reception started shortly afterward. Music became louder. Champagne glasses clinked together. Guests filled long wooden tables decorated with candles and fresh flowers. Stories traveled from one table to another. Old family memories mixed with new introductions. Again and again came the same question. "And how do you know each other?" Each time, the answer remained exactly the same. "We're friends. Not boyfriend. Not partner. Not someone special. Just friends." The smile remained calm. Inside, disappointment slowly transformed into something colder. Not anger. Not revenge. Clarity. Dinner was announced shortly. Before sunset, the family gathered inside an enormous ballroom where crystal chandeliers reflected warm golden light across polished floors. Everyone searched for seats. One cousin waved enthusiastically. "Come sit with us." Several relatives smiled. One elderly uncle raised his glass. "So," he looked toward the couple. "When's the wedding for you two?" The entire table laughed. Someone joked about grandchildren. Another spoke about buying a bigger house. All eyes turned toward them. For a brief moment, silence settled over the table. Then came the familiar response. "Oh, no." Another laugh. "We're not together." The words landed even harder than before. "We're really just close friends." Several relatives looked confused. Some exchanged curious glances. One whispered quietly, "I thought they were dating." Embarrassment spread across the table. Not because of gossip. Because of uncertainty. No one knew what to say next. The silence stretched longer than anyone expected. Finally, a calm voice broke it. "Actually." Every face turned. A gentle smile appeared. "We used to date." More silence. "But now." The smile remained perfectly polite. "She's my ex." The room froze. Forks stopped moving. Glasses remained halfway to people's lips. Even the musicians seemed quieter for a heartbeat. Eyes widened across the table. Her smile disappeared instantly. "What?" The single word barely escaped. Confusion turned into disbelief. Several relatives stared back and forth between them. One cousin blinked. "I thought you came together." "We did." "So." Another pause. "We're not together anymore." The answer came softly. "I only found out today." Nobody laughed. Nobody moved. Across the table, cheers almost appeared, but pride refused to let them fall. The evening that had begun as a celebration had suddenly become something entirely different. Questions spread faster than music. Whispers traveled from table to table. Relatives wondered who had broken whose heart. Some believed there had been a secret breakup. Others suspected betrayal. No one knew the truth. Except the two people sitting only a few feet apart. And neither of them spoke another word. Outside, twilight settled over the gardens. Fairy lights flickered beneath the trees. The wedding continued with dancing, laughter, and celebration. Yet beneath all the joy, another story had quietly begun. One built not on revenge, but on a painful misunderstanding that neither of them yet realized would change both of their lives forever.